Welcome back to this episode of Come Back to Nature. My name is Gareth Blakesley. I'm the director at Lake Catherine, and we're going to be talking a little bit about monarch butterflies today. We just had our monarch butterfly celebration over this last weekend, and we're currently in the butterfly tent, which is full with 600 monarch butterflies. And this is the time of year when the monarch butterfly starts to make its migration down to the Oyamel forest in Mexico. So you might see them passing over, and from Chicago down to the Oyamel, it's about 2,000 miles, but some of the monarchs will actually migrate up to 4,000 miles, depending where they are in Canada and other parts of the country. But it's a great opportunity to talk about why the monarch butterfly is so important. Why do we care? Why is it so interesting? Well, one of the things we've seen over the years is that populations in the Oyamel forest have declined pretty consistently since 1994. And even though those numbers have gone up and down a little bit, what we need is this is the overwintering population that kind of helps with the next generation of the monarch butterflies as they come back up north. People say that you should have about 6 hectares of lands where the monarch butterflies actually overwinter. Last year it was at 1.79 hectares, which is very low still. And it's also the cultural importance of the monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly comes down, and not only is it a food source, but it's very significant to the Mexican culture in that particular area. And it's really important to kind of maintain that population, because not only when you help monarch butterflies are you helping the monarchs, you're also helping a whole bunch of other pollinators and that kind of thing. One of the things they really like, one of the things that we always talk about, is common milkweed. Common milkweed is found in this area. This is the host plant for the monarch butterfly. This is the thing that they can only lay their eggs on. And there are different types of milkweeds throughout the country and down in Mexico, but you try to get the milkweed that's important for your particular area, because that's the one where they're used to and they're looking for. So if you're able to plant common milkweed, which I believe the image will actually show, you'll be able to kind of get some monarch butterflies. They'll lay their eggs on there, and eventually the caterpillars will emerge and they'll feed on the milkweed and eventually pupate onto the plant as well. It's also really, really beneficial. If you ever see those cool flowers that come out of it, those cool flowers also support a whole bunch of other bees and other kind of insects that also pollinate that kind of plant as well. So it's really kind of cool. There's 2 other plants we like to talk about as well. One of them is just to my right, and actually it's kind of modeled here by the monarch butterfly. This is goldenrod. There's a lot of different species of goldenrod. But one of the reasons why it's so important is because it's a late season blooming flower. And as you can see, this particular monarch is actually kind of nectaring on it, which basically means it's feeding on that nectar. And that's really important because it gets that energy boost and that energy source to help with that migration down south. And they're kind of traveling up to like 20 to 30 miles a day. So having a nice energy source like this is really kind of important, and having that energy source all throughout the kind of migration is also really important. There's another plant that we like to talk about, which is blazing star, which is also very useful as well. And it also kind of helps with other pollinators as well. And then also late season plants like asters are really important as well. We recommend that people try to get the local wild type version of these plants in the area. There's lots of different variations that you can get from kind of the hardware stores, but you want to go for something that's wild type and local, because that's the thing that the monarch butterflies are kind of most attracted to, and it's going to be most beneficial for them. So we suggest that if you have a little bit of a garden, and it may only be like a 10 by 10, if you can kind of plant 3 of these plants, if you can plant milkweed, goldenrod, and maybe an aster or a blazing star, maybe all of them, then you're already making like a nice little like pollinator area that's not only just beneficial for all the monarchs that love to kind of all those plants, but it also supports up to about 100 different faunal associations on each one of those plants as well. They're not even monarchs. So it's really, really cool. So it's a win-win situation in that respect. And if other people did that, what you're doing is you're finding these little kind of populations where the monarchs can jump from one spot to another so they have food and nectar to help on their migration down to Mexico. So these are some of the things that we suggest that you can do. We also recommend that you try not to use as much pesticide or herbicides on your lawns and stuff like that, because they don't like that in particular. We also sometimes say a little bit of a wild area is kind of a nice thing to kind of have as well. There's something that I think people use is the cult of tidiness. Sometimes it's okay in some areas to be a little bit messy. We're letting the plants kind of grow up, because that kind of creates habitat for organisms, and I think that's really important to do. So think about how you can help the monarch. We try to help it. We've had a beautiful kind of weekend. We raised funds that we're able to kind of like donate to a couple of different charities that help the monarch as well. And so, but there's things you can do at home, and we hope that you can do that.